This video is to demonstrate how to map an image onto an object. So we are going to use this cube and export a layout and draw on it and import the layout and map it to the cube. So we have our cube. If I scroll in on it, I want it to be a certain view so that when I mark my seams and unwrap it to get a layout, I want it to be a certain way. And so I'll get the click the 1 on my numeric keypad on the right side of my keyboard, and that takes me to the front view. And then I'll just click and drag using the middle mouse button up a little ways, and I'm here viewing the y-axis in front of me. And this, I know this is the front of my cube, so I'm going to mark the seams. Now if I go into edit mode by hitting tab on my keyboard, and I come down here and select edge, select. That way if I right click on any edge, it selects that edge. And I'm going to select several edges and mark the seams, and that's those are the seams that I'm cutting to unwrap my cube to create a flat layout. That way I can draw on it and use it to map the cube. So if I hold down shift and select all the edges that I need, I'm going to do those 3 right there, a side and bottom, the other side and bottom, and that way it's going to unwrap the way I want. So I'm going to come over here to my menu and mark those seams. When I hit A to select it, got to do it twice, it selects the whole thing. Now I need to open up a new window to get a different view, and so I'm going to click up here on these little markings up in the top right hand corner of my view, click and drag out, and I can get rid of this menu by hitting T if my mouse is over here on the right side, hitting T, and that kind of gives me a little more space. Okay, I'm going to change this view from the 3D view down here, this button right here, from 3D view to UV image editor. And so I'm going to unwrap this, and it's going to show up right here. So bring my mouse back over here, click U on the keyboard, and unwrap. If anything happens, if I change the size of this or anything, I can hit U and go down to reset, and then U again and unwrap. So there's my unwrapping. It's the T that I would want. If yours doesn't look like that, that's fine, because we are going to export this as an image and draw on it, import it back in. It's going to look exactly like this shape right here. So no matter what it is, it doesn't really matter. So now I want to export this as an image, and then I'll open it up in Paint. You could do it in Photoshop if you know Photoshop, but we'll just do it in Paint for now. So come down here to this UVs. Now UV is normally in Blender, and in a 3D program we refer to mapping as UV mapping, just because UV is our acronyms for, those are letters for representing the axes of a 2D texture. So we don't need to get into the details of that, but it's usually referred to as UV mapping. So if I click UVs here, go up to the top, export UV layout. Now navigate through your files to your go to your V drive and 3D animation folder. And I'm just, it's going to save it as a PNG, that's fine. I'm going to save mine as UV layout. I already have one there, but it will save over it. And click save over there in the top right hand corner, and it saves it. So now I just need to go to my files and find it, or open up Paint rather first, and we'll just open up the image from there. I've already got one here, let me get rid of it. Okay, so opening Paint, and then I can just go up to File and Open and navigate through my file system. Mine's already there, and there's my UV layout. It's a PNG, it's an image file. So when I open it, it will open here in Paint, and there it is right. So my Paint program looks a lot older than yours, but that's okay. Depending on the assignment, we are going to, well, depending on the assignment, you'll do either pictures here or the dice. I'll just put numbers here just so we can see what it's going to look like. Numbers for each side. Now if you do the dice, you'll get the circle tool, shape tool. If you click and drag and hold down shift, it makes a perfect circle. So I guess guess I can put that right in the middle. So if you were doing the dice, you would do something like this, and you could even copy and paste and drag that down, and you could paste as many as you needed, depending on which one you were doing. Okay, so if you're doing the dice assignments, that's kind of how that is. So let me export this now. If I save this, file and save as, and I'll save it as maybe UV layout 2, and I'll keep that first UV layout in case I want to make another image on that cube. Okay, save it. When I go into Blender, now I'm going to import it here, and so come over here to your options, scroll over on the tabs, or put your mouse up there and scroll with the mouse scroll. Now I'm going to need a material. So yours might look like this. Get a new material. If it's already there, that's great. Go over to texture, and a texture always has to have a material. So first select a material, make sure you have that, and then go to texture and get a new texture. Now here on the texture, we don't want clouds, we want an image. So click on clouds and go up to image or movie, and then I'm going to open right here my layout that I just created. Now one thing that jumps out to me, and I'll just mention it real quick, this right down here, the coordinates under mapping, we need to change that from generated, always, almost always, to UV. Okay, we're going to use this UV mapping. And if you don't have it, it's going to cause problems if you don't change that. So change it there. Click open to find your file, navigate to it, and UV layout 2. Double click on it and it opens up, and there it is. Now I need to come down here to my view, click right here, and it's sitting there now that I've opened it. And there it is, and it just matches it right up to what I unwrapped because I exported that, and so it just stays the same size. And of course you could use your S to scale and G to move around if you needed to. Okay, one or two more things. If you come down over here to our other view, right here, this button, click right there, and I can see what the texture will look like. And there's my texture. I've got my numbers on there. I've got my my die markings, if that's the assignment you're doing. Now, part of it's black, and so that's because of the lamp. So let me show you first. If I render this, F12 shows me what it looks like rendered. And hit escape. Now I need to light it up a little bit better. So if I go out to object mode and right click on this lamp, when I move that, it changes the lighting, where the lighting is. But I want to add another one, so I'm going to click over here and add another lamp. I'll just do another point lamp, and I'll place it. Sometimes you have to move around a little bit to see where it really is. I'll place it so that all the rest of the die is lit up, or the cube. Okay, just like that. So I've got one kind of on the top corner, one on the bottom corner, and that lights everything up. So now if I hit F12 and render it, that renders my cube, depending on the pictures or what you have on there. And then I can save that as an image. So that is the UV mapping.